What is up, rockers of the Rock Nation, and welcome to my mid-season finale, Episode 8 of Season 5, titled Coda of The Walking Dead. And before I say anything, this video contains major spoilers, so spoiler alert to all you who haven't seen it. And I'm going to pause right here for a moment just to say, if any of you guys have not seen this episode yet, go and watch it right now, or wait and go watch it and come back to my video right here. This video contains major, or at least one big major spoiler. Now that I got that out of the way, before I go into my review, let me just say this: rest in peace, Beth. Yes, one of the most beloved characters, Beth, died. But before I get into that, I'm going to talk about all the other stuff that happened before that. At least, I'm not going to talk about the Rick's group yet. But before I say anything about anything, let's see, I can't even concentrate now, so how sad I am, because I just watched it not even like an hour ago. Well, about an hour ago, I should say, but you have Tyrese and Sasha. We have the small clip of them talking, and if I have to say, that really is the brother-sister bond between them talking. Because at least Tyrese has, of course, Sasha, and at least Sasha still has Tyrese. It's real, I would say, even though Sasha does feel like she pins stuff on herself, but hey. Her and Tyrese, good brother and sister combo. That's all I really gotta say, because they help each other out when necessary, so that's really all I gotta say on that. I'm actually gonna talk about more characters first before I go into the main show thing. It's just, here, from what I can tell, we have Dawn. And, yes, everybody on Talking Dead tonight said Dawn deserved to die. Really, if I had to pick anyone deserved to die, in a way, yes, I do believe Dawn deserved to die, but in a way, I don't think she did. Like, I'm like 50-50 on it, because I honestly have no idea. I mean, Dawn, she was just starting to get humanity to her. I mean, yeah, she started off as a complete jerk, but also she seemed to get humanity to her. And maybe that was there all along, but since she's a cop, you kind of can't have wear your emotion on your sleeve, like a lot of us did tonight. Even Emily Kinney, the one who played Beth. But before I say that, from what I can tell from Dawn, now that she's dead, sadly, as well. Well, I don't want to say sadly to her, but just anytime, as I said, you lose a cast member. But anyway, she's not a completely bad person. I said put cop in my notes, but she's not a completely bad person. Just like I thought it was Gabriel as time progressed with him. I mean, Dawn is somewhat good. To me, at least, she seemed like she did care a little bit about Beth. At least a little bit. And if she wasn't in charge, to be honest, and one of the male cops were, things would be a whole lot different in a bad way. Because, as she said, McDonald's, or whatever McDonald's son, whatever the guy's name was, of course, he laughed about with the girl getting raped, shit like that. And Dawn, I think, honestly, she was the best leader there was, to be honest. Yeah, her cracks might have been slipping a little bit, but I think she was a good leader for it. And honestly, if I said something in that hospital area, I have to say the female cops, which is only 2 as far as I know, equal the good. And the male cops are really, to me, the bad cops, if you ask, just the bad. In the hospital setting, Rick, he was a cop, and he's a good guy, so. It's just, Dawn, she's one of the characters that we had throughout this half of the season that we met during, like, mid-part half the season. Well, not mid-part half the season, but still, I think she was just a good person in a bad place. That's a good way of putting it. And of course, everybody inspired her to kill her, and in a way, like I said, I'm 50-50 whether or not she deserved to die or not. And then we have Beth. Now, I'm not going to talk about much about her character other than in tonight's episode, she was smart, but yet she's also not smart, and I'll get more on this here in a minute. Just throughout the whole, as I said, I'm talking to, throughout the whole series Beth has been in, from season 2 till now, it's just a holy fuck moment how much her character and how much Emily Kinney, who played Beth, portrayed the character literally down to the perfect T. I mean, if I could sit here and think about it for a second, Emily Kinney was the perfect person to play Beth. Beth was one of those, but Beth character in general was just one of those characters you could connect to easily. And I can say I did connect to Beth at least a little bit. Not much, but at least a little. Well, honestly, to be honest, I don't know who I connect with more on the show. It's the Rick. Of course, it's always Rick's group that I connect the most to. So I won't say I connect to everybody in Rick's group, but with Beth, it's just really a sad moment. Her character throughout the show was just amazing and all that. I'll just get more on this here in a minute. And Gabriel. Not much to talk about with him. This is me going through the whole scene, though, that contained him and, of course, everyone else that wasn't with Rick. But Gabriel, as I said a minute ago, and as I said probably in one of my earlier reviews, Gabriel is not a bad guy. To me, I think he's a good guy, but also stupid. A stupid good guy, if that makes any sense. Because he hasn't had that many experiences with walkers. He hasn't had that much experience with possibly getting his hands dirty as in physically killing somebody and stuff like that. I mean, because he's at the school, he finds the Bible of Mary B. or whoever, and I kind of wonder, makes me wonder if he knows every zombie in the apocalypse. But anyway. And of course, he also sees Bob's leg there, and he says he had to see it for himself. To me, I think Gabriel is just trying to, per se, he's trying to get it, like I said in the last review, he's trying to get his hands dirty. He's trying to not be so much of a, I'm trying to think how to say this. He's not trying to be so much of a non-useful person. Because now that, of course, the freaking church is gone and all that shit is just fucking ridiculous. Yeah. And really, now he's also starting to see how much fucked up the world is. But now the part where he leads the walkers to the church, of course, where he had Michonne himself was supposed to be there, Carl and Judith. I'm sorry, but if I was Carl, I probably would have killed, or Michonne, I probably would have killed Gabriel right there. Even though he is a priest, I probably would have, because I get more in Rick's situation later, but I'm starting to think like him. One strike, you're gone. Because, for obvious reasons coming from me, you do not put a baby's life in danger in the apocalypse. I mean, yeah, bringing him into the world is sort of dangerous, but you purposely don't bring one in. Or not purposely bring one, you purposely don't put one in danger. It's just something that really gets to me, and I think it's to everybody that says this. But Gabriel, again, he's not a bad guy. You can obviously tell that he's a good guy, but stupid. And then from all this, we see him outside. We see him, Michonne, Carl, and Judith outside. Of course, Judith is with Carl. And the the walkers are trapped inside. And because they all get out alive, they trap the walkers inside. Now, when they're about to break out, here comes the rest of the group. Not Rick's group. But we have Abraham, Rosita, Eugene, Glenn, Maggie, Tara. And they come back. And here's what I find funny about this, though. Glenn tells Michonne that Eugene lied and there's no cure, there's no way to stop it. Michonne doesn't have any response to that. She goes right to Maggie and say, hey, we found, or hey, we know where, Beth, see, that's how distraught I am about this, but how much we know where Beth is, she's in McGrady, Rick and the rest went to get her back, blah, 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 all this. which in turn brings the group halfway back together. Of course, with Michonne, Gabriel, Carl, little baby Judith, Abraham, Rosita, Eugene, Clint, Maggie, Tara. They're all back together, or at least that half of the group. Probably over half, but still. And now I'm getting down to the fun shit. Yeah. That's how... Ugh. But here we have Officer Lamson, or Lanson, however his last name is said, because I didn't pay much attention, or a.k.a. Cop Bob, or Bob 2. We have him running away. And in this turn, Rick... I don't know how they found out. I guess some way they found out, but in case he runs away, Rick chases him, he gets in the cop car. Rick tells him to stop multiple times. Again, I'll get here in a minute. But Rick chases him on foot in the cop car. When he gets the cop car, he hits him, basically running him over. And then, of course, when Lanson or Bob 2 or Cop Bob says you'll all die soon, Rick just shoots him in the head and says fuck it. Now, as I said a minute ago, I'm part with Rick on this, and this would be my mindset. Rick's mindset. He's went to dark after everything that's happened to him and his group, as I said before. He's really went to darker places, and I can understand why. But again, any signs of betrayal, one strike, you're out. Simple as that. One strike, you're out. And one strike, you're done. And honestly, that's probably how I would end up being, because I would not trust anybody unless there's people I knew in the apocalypse. Being perfectly honest. Then again, though, you don't know who you can trust in apocalypse and who you can't. And somebody you might be able to trust, well, you killed him if it's a one strike rule. But honestly, I understand Rick. I would be perfectly on the one strike rule. And throughout this whole season, as they said on Talking Dead, Rick really went to the places he needed to go throughout the entire season. At the right times he needed to go to them. Right now is one of those times he needed to go to them. And you can tell it's just chaos right now with Rick. But Rick, after that though, Rick and the group that's with him in Atlanta, they are still trying to bank on the plan. Hopefully thinking it will work. Now, the two cops that are alive, I think Shepard and the other one, I forget her name. Or his name, I should say. The cops are still willing to cooperate. They lie. They say that Lanson was gotten by rotters, as they say, or walkers, people call them, or runners, or biters. I don't know exactly, whatever you want to call them. There's been multiple names for him, or the dead, but walkers. And after this, they come to the point where they set up the advantage point. Rick's there. He stops the cop car with the two of the cops in there. Now, the officers seem willing to negotiate, but a little too defensive, really, because if you think about it, I don't see why they, I mean, of course, they're cops and all that, and of course, kind of be defensive in this world, but still. But from there on, you can really tell they're kind of lonely, and they obviously know that Noah's with them, or at least he's seen Noah with Rick, because he wouldn't know a lot of stuff unless. But during the exchange scene, and something just fell on my desk. Alright, it's one of my collectible figures, don't ask. But during this scene, during the negotiation scene, it actually seemed like it was going to work, but somewhere in my mind, and a lot of us minds, I think we knew what was going to happen in this entire episode. That there's going to be some kind of twist. As soon as he's about ready to leave, with Beth still alive, and what's her name? Carol. See, I'm so sure about Beth that I forget about Carol. But once they get him out, they think they're about ready to leave. The exchange has been done. The deal was done. Dawn was like, nope, I'm sorry. Give me Noah back. The deal was already made. So she went back on a word for it. But with all this happening, Rick was like, no, he's going with us. He's going home. blah blah blah. Well, in this process, Noah hands his weapon back to Rick, saying, "No, it's all right. I can stay here." Well, as she goes back, it's just wow. Because as Noah goes back to Dawn and the cops and all of them, because again, I hate the cops, other than maybe Dawn and Shepard, but of course at this point, Beth comes up, hugs Noah, then she comes up to Dawn's face and she says, and this point too, as Emily Kinney said, and I kind of agree with this, Beth was confident, but she was also overconfident to get a little bit more than what she wanted. And of course, this whole episode, Beth was kind of contemplating whether Dawn was a good guy or bad guy. And Carol, of course, was still alive because we saw her move when they was in Carol's room together. It's just... And then, of course, she comes up, the scissors, and that's where I say she's smart, for hiding the scissors in her cast of her right hand, if I think right. She took it, stabbed Dawn, I think, in the neck, or somewhere in this general area here. She was smart there, but again, the overconfidence caused her to not be smart. And this includes her to get shot by, I don't know if it was Dawn, but I think one of the other cops, I think. And then, in turn from Beth getting shot, Daryl wearing his heart and emotions on his sleeves, or I should say his sleeveless arms. And return calls, I can't look, in turn calls him to overreact a little bit, which I can understand. Shoots Dawn straight to the head. And this leads to kind of a standoff right here between Rick's group and the hospital group now. I don't say Dawn's group, now just the hospital group, now she's dead. And of course, Rick, and being the person he is, if any of y'all want to leave, I mean, before that, the cops, the Shepard, which I think she's probably one of the good ones, she offers, say, hey, you guys can stay with us, we've been surviving, blah, blah, blah. Well, Rick says, no, we can't. And then from there, he says, anyone that wants to leave can come with us. And of course, obviously, Noah comes with them, or at least from what I can assume from what they show in the previews of the next episodes, coming up back in February, sadly. Yeah, I'm trying to make light. But from there, when, oh my god, in this part, from the moment Beth was shot to the end, really had me heartbroken. Again, as everyone, every fan, the people in the show, the cast members in real life, everyone was heartbroken during this, but because I was crying like a baby. But anyway, up until the part where Daryl, this comes to the point where Daryl is carrying out Beth in her arms, and his arms. And here we see Daryl just crying like a baby as well, and even Norman Reedus, if I remember right, that's who played Daryl. If I don't, someone correct me because I'm stupid as fuck. But even he was upset that day horribly, as an actor, but as Daryl, as the character he portrays Daryl. Oh my god, you can really tell, and that was heartbreaking seeing Daryl carrying her out crying. And then all of a sudden we see, of course, Glenn, Maggie, Tara, Rosita, Eugene. Eugene I don't think we see because he might be in the fire truck, and Abraham in Atlanta at McGrady, and there's Maggie when she sees Beth. Maggie, when she sees Beth, she's just torn apart now because here, of course, we had a reason to live, blah blah. During some prior things, when the whole group separated from prison, she had something to live for to find Glenn. Now, she also has something to live for to find Beth. With that, now she has nothing to live for. Everybody's starting to lose something horribly in this world, but it makes you wonder now what's going to happen with Maggie. Some of that. Really, I feel like she's just going to be a shell of the woman she was. Oh my god, I can't even talk on this. It's just I don't think she's going to be any use to the group for the rest of the season. Maybe, maybe not. You don't know. But it's just, holy fuck. But on a lighter note, I can say at least Rick and the rest of the group now all fully back together, other than the death of Beth. And of course the addition of Noah. Carol is back with Rick and everyone else. Whew. Yeah. At least that's a lighter note, but Beth dying, rest in peace, Beth. She will be missed on the show. Well, she will be missed as a character on the show. Emily Kinney will be missed as an actor on the show. So yeah. But now here comes the end of the show. Or at least after the credits or whatever. We have Morgan showing up. And of course, he comes across the school. And he comes across the church. And from there we know he sees the map that has Rick's name on it. And all the stuff, and he's laughing kind of, but more importantly, Rick's name on it. And from this, you wonder, though, what's going to happen either this season or the rest of the season. It's only 2 times we've really seen... Oh, my throat hurts. But this is really only 2 times really seen Morgan after the show. Or after credits like this. Or at least I believe. But you wonder, when's he going to catch up with the group? If he's going to catch up with the group, and if he catches up with the group, will he be some kind of madman and kill them all, or will he actually try to be civilized with them and maybe join them? You never know. But yeah, this episode, I will say, it wasn't packed actiony as a mid-season finale usually is, from what I've seen. But definitely one of the heavier episodes and one of the most dramatic and traumatic episodes. I guess I said that right. And overall, I literally want to give this over a 5-star rating out of 5. It's just, wow, this episode. Because you wasn't expecting Beth to die. You wasn't expecting... Really, that's the main mindfuck. You wasn't expecting her to die. And again, like I said, I give this over a 5-star rating. Maybe because I'm biased, but damn. This episode all around was just... Whew. But yeah. Until next time, rockers. Well, actually... I'll be back with more videos. Until then, until February. For The Walking Dead. Live free and rock.